Jogging every day at NC Parks until I lose 150 pounds. Day 41. And on day 41 we are at Hollow Rock Park in Durham, North Carolina. Remember the last time I was here, it was kind of sudden. I was in the middle of I don't know, what was I in the middle of? I was in the middle of something where I had to take my wife somewhere, a long distance. Yeah, and I wore my house slippers, and I had our dog. And I just had to go to a park and run because I have to do this every day, and it was getting late. And so I just had to come here and run in house slippers with her dog, who is an oversized lap dog, because she is a boxer rat terrier mix, I believe. The vet says she has small dog genetic problems anyway, and she's currently 12 years old and does not look like it at all. So we're trying to figure out what mix she is. We know she's a boxer mix because that's what her papers initially say. Then the vet said the mix is with a small dog breed, looking at features and stuff. I'm just guessing rat terrier. I don't know. But here I am now in exercise shoes and not with the dog, so I can run or figure out what's going on or whatever. This is turning out better than I thought doing this little show here, just with my free time, because I did this. I really started broadcasting this for accountability. That was like the main reason. Because it's niche, and because it's on TikTok, and because it has to do with exercise and nature, and my charming face is there, that it has the potential for a lot of people to take an interest in it. But I really just did it for accountability. It's taking me. I think I'm just headed to a street. Like another street. Oh, I remember. I was just here in my car. Not here, I didn't see this path over here. But I was trying to figure out where I was supposed to park. And this is the path I was on. Headwaters Loop Trail, 0.8 mile long. That's pretty good. I didn't go on this side of it at all last time we were here, so I barely went, I just stayed in that one little area, and it was a long walk with my dog, and she was getting tired because it was, it's just like snake-like. Just kind of keeps wrapping around and bending around. Creates a lot of distance, not as much acreage. But this is really cool. I started my first real business, I'd say, in 2010. It was called Insanity Electronics. It wasn't the first business I started, but it was the first one where there was just a lot of paperwork and managing agreements with wholesalers and marketing to a large audience, creating software. It was a lot, right? The first business I started actually was called Tail Feather, and it was supposed to be handmade, Christian themed, handmade, like soap and hemp necklaces and hemp backpacks, stuff like that. And then I was going to expand into a physical nexuses and designer clothing made from recycled materials, and have like a cafe and a stage for people to perform, like book shows for free and perform. That was the idea But getting married changed a lot of things for me, because now you're running a three-legged race, right? So, and I moved to North Carolina with my wife because I didn't want to give her a choice between me or not being homesick. So I just moved out of my apartment in Houston in 2005, I believe, and moved in with her and her dad in North Carolina. And so it just, having jobs, paying bills, I worked on other things. That's the main time that I started writing and producing electronic dance music soundtracks. I became really good at writing, producing music during that, like a 10-year span, because, well, it's like a 5-year span, but I kept doing it after that for about 5 more years. But I got really good at writing music then. I was even incorporating that into Insane Electronics, cell phone jingle packets to sell, so that people could create their own cell phone jingles and upload them. But what happened is that I got hit with a lot of credit card fraud, and it actually consumed all the amount that was in savings, and I was at a negative balance for my business. Not too much, it's something I could have gone a loan for and saved. But what I realized was, especially since I was competing, like if you search for these items on Google and other places and other shopping search engines like Shopzilla, Insane Electronics came up around like anywhere between 1 to 5, with Best Buy, Staples, Walmart, Amazon, B&H Photo, right? Insane Electronics was right there. So any place between 1 from 5, and this was a sole proprietorship. I just automated everything. I thought, surely companies don't have employed to do this. I'll just automate this, automate that. It's because I couldn't sit there for 2 hours a day going through spreadsheets, cleaning data. So I had to come up with a way to take the data feeds from suppliers, clean it, because it just doesn't come through exactly tailored for, presentation. Then do price markups and everything every day. So I automated the entire process, and I had met all the requirements. It was a secure site. Merchant services was through PayPal Pro, so that was secure anyway, but I also had my own fraud detection system. I had an address for them to contact support, phone number for them to contact support. It just went up to the top. Within 2 years of me starting the business, it was at the top of Google's search results and others. I realized that what I was doing on the software side was less risk and potentially a lot more money. And I was a hobby programmer up until 2010 when I started learning PHP and doing something on an enterprise level. But I started really getting into learning coding, going to lynda.com, which is now LinkedIn Learning, and learning how to code enterprise sites with Java and a lot of other things. And so that was like the beginning of a journey that took me to, come to work at a marketing company and become the general manager. And then, we were meeting with clients from there, and was just learning about how to communicate in business situations like this at executive tables and everything, and people talking about ideas and just other people that had big ideas. I met other people like myself that just have these really big ideas. right? And they can explain how they work, and you envision what's going to happen prior to it happening, prior to people taking things that they have for granted, like these phones and everything. There's people that dream it, and meeting other people like myself that are excited about something and passionate and are doing something. It was a really eye-opening experience because I haven't really had a lot of good feedback about the way that I think most of my life. There's like people, family and stuff that are telling me I'm a genius, and I don't know how to really use that per se, because it doesn't do anything for me. I still things that a lot of other people I still constantly having to learn. So but as far as the entrepreneur thing, for the most part, I've just gotten a lot of like pushback in the way that I think, and the fact that you think you'll succeed. So I was already, my entire plan the entire time before I'd even got my first job was to be an entrepreneur, right? And I was just trying to, you have to manage doing it and paying your bills at the same time, right? You have to manage starting somehow, whether you're going to live in your car, you're going to live in a tiny home on a $4,000 plot of land that you bought, whatever you're going to do, you have to figure that out. So you can basically work on things that are not yet successful, and all you're doing is spending money and time, right? There has to be a way you fit that math into your world. So I was just kind of trying to figure out how to do that, and what my initial strategy was is that there wasn't a lot of good options at the time for Christian EDM. So I went in, and there really wasn't anything really except for one person competing with mainstream trance DJs and artists. So but I could do it really well, and so I started teaching myself how to write music. And I had took a cello class in junior high too, so I already had experience with music, being classically trained in cello. But I also played guitar and picked things out on the keyboard. Didn't really play keyboard. Man, it smells ripe here. Like I'm just around wild animals. I'm gonna head this direction. This smells like a zoo. And I don't think no, I can't say that. I just don't want to deal with it, man. I don't want to deal with facing a large wild mammal, cougar or whatever. This area is really ripe smelling. So we are going to head back. What I was doing is I was gonna compose and produce Christian electronic dance music, and then sell it on iTunes and other places like that. But what happened was I spent years doing that, like just perfecting it and dealing with life, and perfecting it and dealing with life. And what eventually happened with that is that I had lost all my music, I think 4 times. I think the last time was in 2015, I think. And I don't know. Because I had like backup drives. Like one time I had all my music on a computer that was bought for me as a present with a warranty at Best Buy, and I also had a backup drive with all my music on it, and the computer's GPU went out, and so it went to go service, and while it was in service, the backup drive fell out of the cabinet and broke, and I didn't want to take the time to repair hard drives back then, replacing the heads and all this stuff. I just considered it a loss, but I also considered that I had my other computer. Then Best Buy called me and said that we had to scrap the entire thing because we can't fix it. It's a motherboard issue, and they scrapped the drive with it. They just threw everything away, apparently, and that was it. And I didn't use their backup service, so their $100 backup service. So I was just like, okay. So that was it. That was the end of all my music. That was it. All that music since that was in, like, I think 2011. And I was like, well, and you know, things like that. But you see, I took an effort, right? And that happened like 4 other times. And I just I can't even say I stopped caring. I'm just gonna go do other things right now. That's what. So, but eventually I left working for another company and went off as a freelancer. So I was a freelance technology consultant and software engineer. Basically, this is what I did. I either cold called companies, put ads on Craigslist, or people called me from previous networks that I knew when I was working for another company, and I didn't have any contracts or anything like that with the other company I worked for, so that was a good situation. So people in the business in a network liked me, and they liked my work, and so they continued to use me even after I left and I was working as a freelancer. Right. So, but at the end of 2016, there was a large contract pulled up underneath my feet, and that was after being asked to wait 5 weeks. Don't go off and go get other clients. So I'm just spending money for 5 weeks. Then, you know, they said, we'll get you paid. And then the entire company I was working for closes down. I was being contract because I was a freelancer, but my time was going to them because they paid so normally. And it was my fault for not. You know, I knew I had other clients, but I just didn't really make as much of an effort as I should on marketing myself, because I was always consumed in software development and stuff like that. But so I decided I needed to go into business for myself so I can have direct relationships with whoever the work is actually being done for, have direct relationships with them, so I can manage disputes, and I'll be paid more, and a lot of other great benefits than just starting a company of your own and marketing yourself as a company. I need to get things together. So I had automated a company before, and could do it again. This time making websites, right? So I started working on an AI model to well, that's actually the second AI model kind of I started working on. Yeah, that was a second. I think that was the second one I started working on. Although it's called AI model number 8. That's because I didn't call them anything until I was putting a suite together of my AI models in 2018 or 19, I believe. That one basically could benefit from having specialized areas of its brain that are essentially just the other 7 AI models. So because I was going to make this particular model, group them with the others, it was the only one that I was going to group with all the others. In addition to the original design of the model, I call it AI model number 8 because it represents the previous 7 designs and itself. But then I ran across several things, and I've talked about this before, but I have new followers now. I ran across something I call a genie in a lamp paradox. I just named it that because describing something that I'm looking at in math, a lot of math. It's not just math about the system, it's math about how the system interacts in the environment and people's expectations. So how the product being here affects the environment and people's ideology relative to historical data and people's reactions to various stimulus. So, and the best way to describe the phenomenon in society, and as well as the technology itself in one term, is like having a genie in a lamp. And it's a paradox because people don't think they can have a genie growling out here. Where am I hearing growling from? Okay. Okay, so the best way to describe it is like having a genie in a lamp, because this is the thing. I was designed to make websites, but I was designing it towards taking abstract terms. What I do is when I make websites, people don't tell me how to make websites, right? They tell me I want it to look like this and do this. I want the website to look bubbly, right? That's normal that we understand what that means. Now try making it normal for a computer to understand what that means. There's a lot involved in that. So I'm just working on a system to take abstract commands and turn them into a website. I'm just very focused on that particular task, right? So I start thinking about how to market it. What I realized is that if it can make websites by taking abstract commands, it can do anything. Because of its initial way that it's configured, like the human mind, to learn, to take a breakdown of abstract and make it less abstract in your environment, associating meaning with typing and researching and reading documentation and all this, it applies to anything. We're now working at actually a very low level of computing, and I'm just not thinking about it. The fact that that's what I'm doing. And then I realized something else, that from my life experiences actually, that when people say things are impossible, they generally aren't, no matter how stupid they sound. What's always challenged people saying something is not going to happen are people simply working on the problem, like Steve Wozniak in the Apple computer. He just worked on it, man. That's it. Right? And because he worked on it, he solved it. Right? And because it's possible. So instead of having to build websites, now you just imagine any stupid thing you want, quote unquote stupid. Imagine build a microchip that's what human beings would have 10,000 in the future. What does that mean, computer? What does that mean? Well, it means looking at a chart on how microchips have evolved since their inception, increasing in speed, increasing in energy efficiency, decreasing in size, decreasing in temperature, right? It's and those are, now you have a slope over time of where these items are progressing, and you simply evolve that by 10,000 years. It doesn't mean it's the right answer exactly, because of course if you built something that human beings would have by using today's processes now through metrics 10,000 years in the future, then the metrics are going to change, and it's not going to be true to being 10,000 years in the future. If you understood that, I don't think I'm just kind of got that kind of jumbled, but I think you understand what I'm saying. See, the thing is, it solves the problem, right? So now you have this affecting the market in different ways, and the market is people's expectations, and that's where you need to start predicting what's going to happen, right? It's not about the technology any longer. It's about the fact that not everyone understands value. People obviously can be scared about other companies' competitive advantages if they're going to have a job. You know, people have a problem with a company that specializes in drop shipping, you know, having a vendor marketplace and shipping their orders efficiently, and people have a problem with that, right? A company comes out with something like this, it's not just about the technology, whether the technology is safe, whether it's going to, you know, become a Terminator or whatever. That's actually very unlikely, because you have to basically design that, or you have to basically design something that would allow that. And it's not as because the way your mind's operating to ever put it together to begin with from scratch, it's not as easy to make that mistake as people may think. That it's you have to know how things work, right? Sure, I think the thing is people I think the thing is that people think of their existence and the way that they're made as very special and unique. And I'm not going to argue with you at all. And I don't know everything about human beings, but I know enough about how this works to get it to do things that people are still categorizing into them being very special. And because I can do that, it is possible, obviously, and we just need a solution for that. So my business model has changed 3 times. Now we're at this decentralized business model. That's the LLC, no centralized management or authority. Everyone is sharing everything equally. You come in through a test. Now you're a business owner. You can start a subsidiary. You're basically being funded by the other businesses until you're profitable, and you can leave whenever you actually want. You can leave before your business is profitable. You don't have to start a business. You just consume the paycheck. It's just that everybody that's actually makes it through the test are on the same page. It's like, okay, we all understand where our money's coming from. Sure, I want to retire. I would like to retire on the entire paycheck. Maybe I kind of actually would just do my business out of here, and then maybe move on, maybe not. Maybe I like the community of people here more than going off on my own and becoming a multi-billion-dollar Inc., you know. There's a lot of things that are very free to move around in without disrupting the actual ability for the company to survive. Because instead of rules and management tiers, it's a probabilistic model where it's like taking a driver's test for running a business, right? If you pass these tests, we know that you're probably going to succeed in these margins at minimum, right? So that allows incidents to occur, right? But these incidents aren't actually incidents. These incidents are acts of free will. Like, I actually just want to take the money and do nothing. I'm just go travel the world. It's set up for people to do that. It's set up and for no one to be upset about it, because as the company grows and more people are controlling these revenue streams and operating in this environment with each other and making their business and other businesses successful, it's just very low that on the probability that somebody would want to do that, which actually makes it okay. Because and now I know people have argued in the past that irresponsible people don't make irresponsible people okay. Well, in this model it does, because they're not irresponsible people. It's because I'm actually designing it for that purpose. I'm the one setting all this up, right, and putting my AI models into it and everything. And if other people agree with it, which I made it very agreeable, I designed this entire thing. I made it very agreeable for people. I'm not even, when other people start coming in, I'm not even the head. There's no head. Everybody's equal. Regardless of that, I initially designed this entire thing. And I'm bringing my AI models into it to make it profitable and everything. I'm not the head of the company. There is no head. Everything is completely decentralized, right? There's public liaisons that are voted on, people that want that position, and then there's a company-wide vote. Like, okay, who's going to speak to the public? Do you want to speak to the public? And then you have that position, that role to communicate things that are going on in the company in a constructive way. I have voted heads of subsidiaries that are part of the core services model, where it's they're subsidiaries of the company, but they're owned by the company. They're not owned by the owners, and that are performing essential services. And there's voted heads of those. But see, the actual revenue stream that they're given to run a medium-sized business, even though they're in that voted into that position, doesn't change whether they're in that position or whether they're not in that position. Actually, the amount of money that they're controlling doesn't change. Outside of there's a way that it fluctuates up and down, but it fluctuates with what you can buy. So you can still buy the same things over the course of time, whether the amount that you're being given goes down, whether it goes up. But it's the same as everyone else is getting to run a medium-sized business. So you're just running, this core services business as CEO or whatever, or as president. With the same amount of money other people are getting to running their own businesses with, and you can still run your own business, your own subsidiaries out of it. So it's a very agreeable model for a lot of people to just, take these tests and pass. That we give you a clear path to get there. Okay, now you're entry with 7 other people and grouped in by personality type. Now you're going on this year-long business training program as 1099, and then you sign all the contracts to own the company. It's known publicly how much money that we're distributing to our owners, so it's something that you can actually expect. Like, if I work for this and under these terms I get through, I can actually expect to have this. So there's a clear path to it, and very least, after I've done my part, I'm just going to be in a queue. I'm just going to be in a queue waiting in line for other people to come and be an owner of this business. Once you're there, your dreams are funded, and you can leave anytime you want with all the work that you did there. You are forfeiting the revenue, controlling the revenue stream, obviously, so we can give it to somebody else. But if you build a company that is about to become, has potentially become a multi-billion-dollar company that's publicly traded, you can break off anytime you want and go form an Inc. And we keep no equity, because the probabilistic model allows you to do that with, there's more people that are still, they're profitable, but they still are working on being secure enough in the market, having their position secure enough until they feel that they can leave the model. A lot of things working like that, people running a lot of small businesses and bringing in a lot of money for the company. Some people running internet services, digital services that cost very little to actually run, but bring relative to the amount of money that they actually bring in. There for a while, and they're there for a while until they feel like going off on their own. So collectively, with companies bringing in more money than they're spending, and a lot of companies, we can have these areas where people can do whatever they want to do that. Have companies breaking off anytime they want. Very agreeable model, because everything is very understood on why things are the way they are and how other people can come into it, and it's fair, and it's fun, and you can leave. That's an important part that people want, that once you've invested so much time in some place, you want to take your work and leave somehow, right? I don't want to give you any equity, even though you funded all my dreams. I don't want to give you any equity. Okay. What? Yeah, okay. But that was so selfish of me. It's not a problem, man. Just go. And it's selfish because that's what I designed it for, right? That's important that we respect our business owners too. That, we set each other's expectations are set, that we do have control, right? You are in charge of your section of what you do with the money, right? So we all know that between each other, and there's no, you're not managing me, you're a peer, right? You can come offer me advice. I would like advice. Really working around childish individuals, and that's a lot of what the test does, is weeds that out, right? That by the time you're able to pass a test, there's 100 video questions on about other people's talking about their day and understanding them. Once you've had that much experience in the world and exposure to people and interaction with people to be able to pass this test, to be able to model them correctly and understand how they're feeling, regardless of whether you agree with it or not, you're not around children, right? So there's no reason to actually have management. It's essential that because I was trying to get it to a way, because of math and the environment, how AI could really put a lot of pressure on different areas. I had to have a way to make it so people know that they're in control, right? In their job, so AI is taking all these jobs, and you can't hire me for that anymore. I can't have my $200,000 a year salary anymore. Okay, what am I going to do? Who's going to hire me? Oh, we'll hire you to janitorial services are still run by human beings. Congratulations, you're a janitor. It's just a plan that we can make it very simple for people to understand that this won't happen, right? It's just having something out there in the environment prior to any problems occurring, where people can see a model of something operating in this, where machines are able to do jobs that humans can do thousands of times faster, more efficient, safer, less expensive. And what are they going to do now? So now there's a model of something already working like that. And it's actually something that they can go pursue. The reason why people become scared about their jobs and the economy and all this, they're not absolutely true. Even though they may think that they are, value is very complex. Its value hides under rugs and hides inside of a lot of different things that people would never think are valuable, because they have a scope of things that are valuable to them, right? So the challenge is either getting everyone on the same page as that, for themselves, just figure out, one day they lose their job and the next day they start making handmade pottery and being successful at it, or before any of that happens, put a model out in their environment where things are already working like this, and it's something that they already know about, and they just don't have any concerns anyway, because they're just they're already walking towards this model, and they're just some people, it really feels like their choices are being diminished. I remembered a lot of negative feedback on, I think it was Donald Trump's. Somebody related to Donald Trump saying that go find another job, as far as jobs not being available, and people had a lot of very negative feedback. And so I based my models on reality, so you can already see things like that. I also look at how a guy was trampled during Black Friday sales, right? People literally killed somebody, albeit probably accidentally, but literally neglected somebody's life to trample over them for a few $100s off of TV, right? So we can see in historical situations that we could have a lot of problems from a lot of people if we don't set their expectations to where they understand how, let's just call it, the American dream is going to continue in their life. So we're setting their expectations that it's easy for it to continue in this model, but the model's already out there. That's going to be it for my talk. I'm sure there was some subject I started on and went down a rabbit hole and left undone. If anybody has any questions, I'm always open to talk about this. There's a very large network that requested me to talk about all this on a TV show. A producer from One Anyway, and I just asked him if he could hold on until we have everything ready. If my stuff goes viral on TikTok, pretty much, I honestly didn't want to talk about a lot of it until we do that interview. But quite honestly, I think being in their network and on that TV show, it still positions it as in a different place in people's minds, because people understand others through their own relationships. So I'm just going to look like some guy running in parks, even if I go viral talking, unless you recognize my communication in business as my personality and my type, or you see me somewhere that people you already trust do working with me. So looks like people are really digging my park videos. I'm just getting some more water, then we're gonna go run. Oh, I'm one of those runner jerks with the glasses. No, not really. You're not jerks if you wear glasses running, okay? There we go. Duke Forest that way. That's interesting. Alright. I don't know what this means, but we'll go over there. And I guess it just means we're going to Duke Forest. But I don't know what the experience of being in Duke Forest is. Duke Forest. Here we go. Hey, Duke Forest is this way. Well, I'm assuming it's going to be a very good forest. Duke's a good university. Although I can't afford being injured, so I'm going to go down these steps, like steps. We're going to walk down this trail of roots instead of running. I should have brought my other shoes. I have running shoes on. This is they're just Skechers running shoes from Target for like $40. But I stopped wearing them. I stopped buying them. I'm just gonna let you know, even though I don't like giving things bad reviews, that because they kept falling apart. So I stopped buying them, because if they fall apart that fast, I'm spending $40 on it, man. I mean, what's up? So, but this is actually, the left one fell apart one time and the right one fell apart the other time. And I buy the same size every time, obviously. So I have a right and a left here. Tall brush. Tall brush and noises kind of freaks me out a little bit. Lions and tigers and bears, oh my. Lions and tigers and bears, oh my. Lions and tigers and bears. Just make noises. Scare anything away with, whoa, big spider web. Scare anything away with my noises. Kind of an enchanted forest, huh? Got these tunnels of brush and stone pathways. It's like my secret garden. The Secret Gardens. The Secret Garden, My Secret Garden. That was a popular movie when I was growing up. Secret Garden. They had really good movies back then. They had like a lot of value in watching them for like anybody, right? To understand their point of view. Really good kids movies. And just everything. Like all those movies. Whoa, big spider on me. Big spider. Not expecting that. Big spider. Alright. This is not the best for running, is it? I did some running already, but we haven't done enough. The actual title has been fulfilled, but we have to do more jogging because we have to lose 150 pounds, right? Okay. I'm better. What's this? Bacteria pond. Protozoa. Single-celled organisms. Oh yeah, that's plenty of filth down there. There's some lovely filth down here, huh? Well, this is a fair cop. Famous line from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Everyone's trying to figure out what she said. Does it go under this bridge? Am I supposed to go into a bridge? No. There's no path to that quite. I mean, if you really wanted to, yeah. I mean, I'd get in like Halo gear or something. I mean, I really would. I would not do that in normal clothing. Get in Halo gear, and we can go do that stuff right there. But other than that, I think we may just have to turn around. Let's just go somewhere. Where's this going? Is this a path? I think this is supposed to be a path. No. Yeah. No. Hey, that's that poisonous berry, kind of poisonous berry. That's what that is. It's an American pokeweed. It's a really interesting species. There's a history here in America where a dye and a lot of other things going on with pokeweed. I think I have to turn around and go back though. So, do a little bit of jogging maybe. Yeah, I should probably jog back. Being extra careful, spiders, because I haven't done a lot of jogging today. I didn't get as much as possible. Got bees and all sorts of stuff. Not leaving. Go this way. I'm not jogging very fast through this. There were spiders last time. There's a spider web had a duck under. I just don't remember where it is. Okay, I should just jog when I get out of this. Quite an uphill battle. is essential. If you're doing this too, if you're going to do this too, don't forget water, man. See my face? It's cool. Stable. Oh. Oh. That's neat, man. It's really neat. Here's the trail, new trail we can go on. Here's back the way we came. We're gonna go back the way we came because, oh look, there's a house. That's interesting. I don't know anything about this property or anything. Just, they tell me I can go here, so I'm here. So this used to just be somebody's house, huh? This is their house, this is their yard, this is their stable. Their kids grew up here. It's really cool. Then you turn it into a park. That seems to be the thing to do in North Carolina. Because that's what I'm saying, just all these, they're basically where people lived. Like, you know, not too long ago. These just look like normal houses to me, right? And they got like a swing and where you go enjoy your yard, and you have your stables for your horse and everything. What was the other park? There was another park in Wake Forest. I basically just left because I didn't understand what was going on. Because I'm from Houston, Texas, man. You don't go into people's houses. It's like, I didn't even know how far that reached because I didn't know I was going to react like that. It was like, it's just somebody's house. No, I'm not going to their house, but it's a nature park. Do I just go in their house? It's just a house. What do I do? The park, do I just walk around somebody's house, like go through their drawers and like lay in their bed? What is this? I don't understand what's happening. I mean, I will if you want me to. I will. It's what you want me to go on tour and see how the O'Donnell family lived up until 1979. It'd be really cool, man. It'd be really cool. Go turn on their TV. Yeah, sit on the floor. Wait for Sesame Street to come on. That'd be cool, man. Watching I Love Lucy and all sorts of things. How long can I live here for? Do you charge rent? All these campers and visitors and stuff when I come out. Ah, it's a good day. Is that you? Yeah, I live at a state park, man. You were cool, but I didn't know you were living at a state park. Cool. A41 down.